Hey YouTube, it's your boy Magnificent and
Nick.
We are just finished with a job, so I thought what a good time to interview Nick. Nick's story is pretty cool. You know, a lot of the times you think, you know, oil field is just for rugrats, but Nick has a degree from an awesome university. What's he doing here? About to find out. We always want to find out, okay, what's your background? Where did you come from? And why the oil fields?
Yeah, so to start with, I'm from Daytona Beach, Florida. Born and raised my whole life up there. After high school, I went to college, the University of Florida, studied finance for 4 years.
Wait a minute, you studied finance, okay. Keep going.
Yeah, so I studied finance, and a lot of people ask me why the hell I'm up here.
Right, okay, so answer the question, why are you
The reason is I wasn't ready for a desk job.
Mr. Scamander fears what more than anything else in the world?
Having to work in an office, sir.
I'm young, I'm strong, I like working out and stuff like that, and I wanted like a real job, kind of toughen me up. Oil field sounded good, and I'm all the way out here in North Dakota. So.
Wow, Florida to North Dakota. Weren't you scared of the stories of the negative 300-degree temperatures? That didn't kind of get you at all?
You say that past tense, I'm still scared of it, man. I haven't experienced it yet, but yeah, I was a little nervous in orientation. We were in Texas, and I was a little chilly in the just in the air conditioning, so I don't know what's gonna happen, but I'm ready for it.
That's awesome. So now we know it was a little bit of a thrill that got you here, but was it just that, or was any idea of the money? I mean, it would take a lot to get someone from a degree just to come out, you know, be dirty and the like. What did you hear about? How did you hear about it? How did you trust who you heard it from? And is it real?
Yeah, so that's kind of like a twofold thing there, because one of the allures of it definitely was the money. You hear starting off, people are making over $100,000, and for a lot of people that's true. For some people it's not.
Okay.
But the real allure is that a lot of people like me, they don't come out here. A lot of college-educated people, hard-working, ambitious. So the fact that I'm out here, I have a better potential to move up into management, other careers. So
absolutely.
Starting out, the money's great, but the sky's the limit.
Let's talk about Nick's background. Now, we heard he's from Florida. Obviously, he's a smart guy, well-spoken, works out. Now, I want to kind of get into his head a little bit, because, you know, we want to make sure when we're hearing something, does the guy that I'm hearing it from have the same philosophy I have? So how did you grow up? What was your thinking? Were you raised? I mean, just kind of give us some you know, inside track to what you were thinking.
Yeah, so just little bullet points, public school all the way through. Straight A student up till 6th grade.
So he was smart, okay.
Yeah, that's when you start having fun. You quit worrying about grades as much. My family, I didn't have strict parents whatsoever. They kind of let me do my thing, knew I'd get by. So I did my own thing through high school, got a job, got good grades, went to college, studied finance because I didn't know what else I wanted to study. Most people don't. The reason I got here is my dad worked here, so he put in a good word. And I'd actually met the man who hired me before, helped him move into his home. But
that helps, right?
A little bit.
So.
The reason I heard about it is my father, who's maybe in another segment pretty soon, he actually came out here about 5 to 8 years ago. He'll tell you all about that. But he came out here, he was treated with respect, treated well, was able to make a living for his family, and it's something I envy. You work really hard, hard weeks up here, but you get paid for it.
Absolutely. So let me ask, if someone wanted your gig right now, right, you know, Joe Schmo, obviously he may not be able to do it the same way you did, but how would Joe Schmo, two questions, how would he prepare to do the job you're doing, you knowing and having been in it now, and what would he have to do to get there?
Yeah, so frankly, get a CDL.
So that's a commercial driver's license, right?
Yes,
okay.
Yeah, commercial driver's license. When there's a big boom in oil, which there may be by the time you're watching this, they'll hire anybody for anything. But right now, when things are just steady, they want a CDL because every piece of equipment out here is hooked up to a bobtail. That's step one, and step two is apply. There's so many oil fields up here, so many different.
Apply just anywhere?
Just apply anywhere. Just look up what you want to do. So I personally do fracking, wireline is good, oil tubing. There's a lot of different avenues up here.
Sure.
Very similar.
It's awesome. Thank you. Let's get nitty gritty about the money, right? We know everyone probably clicked on the video wondering what's a guy with a finance degree. That typically those kind of guys go to Morgan Stanley, or they go to some kind of trajectory as financial advisor. Basically, they get the kind of degrees to make some cash, right? Tell me what would spur someone, and let me back up and say it this way, the money in the oil field. If you were to go pursue a job that was more catered to your degree, would it be the same? Or would it be more? How long would it take you to make up what you're making now?
So, starting out salary with my finance degree, if I'm lucky, about about 70 grand. That's hard to get. There are jobs on Wall Street. You hear everybody talking about with a finance degree trying to get to Wall Street. Those jobs, yeah, you make 6 figures, but you're working 100 hours a week also.
Yeah.
And it's not just physically demanding work, it is mentally exhausting. And quite frankly, I think that's worse. You have deadlines, pressure. Suicide rate's pretty high with those people, and they don't tend to stay in the business for more than a year or 2.
It's true.
So as far as starting salaries, they're not great in the finance world. You can get to great salaries, but far few in between, and they're so competitive. Whereas out here, not too many people with a degree trying to get the management. A lot of people want a paycheck, they want to get out.
So would you say that you have the opportunity here to have the best of both worlds? Not only do you make a decent amount of money, close to 6-figure income, if not 6 figures, but you're also able to, with your degree, jump into something that's not physically demanding, and basically not have to have the same challenges you have as a finance.
Yeah, of course,
person.
I would definitely agree with that. There's just limitless potential.
How do you handle relationships, right? You're working in the oil field. People hear about oil field guys making buku dollars. I'm gonna ask you this question from 2 standpoints. Now, because you're not married yet, you're not married yet. How do you handle a relationship like this where you work such long hours, you're gone away from your family, from Florida, how do you do it and expect to have a good relationship long term?
So that's tough. I haven't been doing it too long. I'm 3 months in. I got lucky. I found a girl about 6 months ago. So it's a pretty new relationship. I wasn't sure how it was going to work out here. It took a lot of talking, a lot of compromise, different things like that. But if it's the right person, it works.
Okay.
The schedule is rough. I say the key is just make time for them. Every day you get home, you're going to be tired. You work long shifts, 14, 15, 16-hour days. You don't have much sleep, but make time for calls, texts. Whenever you have downtime, whenever you get off work, make time, show you care. So every time I come home, I have flowers in my hand.
Oh, wow.
And then when you come home, especially if you live with your partner, just understand you're gone most of the time. That is not your home anymore. That is her home, that is his home.
Oh, that's beautiful advice.
Yeah, when you come home, don't be trying to take over things, change the way they're going, because they have a routine going, especially if you're gone 5 weeks at a time.
Beautiful nuggets. Hey, you guys got to listen to this. This is like key advice here. And sorry to interrupt you. Let me ask you this. How has it been going with the things that you're talking about? I mean, is it improving? Is your relationship the same? Or is it have you noticed that it's kind of gotten down a little bit just because of the difficulty? So
I'd say it's actually gone up. So before I left, we're both college students. We worked at the same place. Spent a lot of time together. And an old friend of mine, their grandparents were together about 70 years.
Wow.
And they asked them, what's the key to your marriage? How did you last so long? They said split shifts.
Split shifts. Tell us more.
So the mom worked day shifts, the dad worked night shifts. They didn't spend that much time together because it doesn't matter how much you love the other person. If you spend a lot of time together day in, day out, you kind of get sick of each other. But with this, we're far away, so when we spend time together, we make the most of it. We plan trips. We treat each other with respect. We're always talking to each other. We're excited to see each other. So it's kind of like you stay in the honeymoon phase because you don't have enough time for it to go away.
Beautiful thing. So let me kind of recap. First thing he says, you got to respect the space of the other person. It's their territory. You're a man, or if you're watching this, you're a woman. Whoever has been occupying that space the longest, they got dibs on how it goes, right? Second thing he said is you got to make time for each other, right? Distance makes the heart grow fonder is an old saying. So, hey, it works sometimes, right? So when you do go home, make sure you enjoy each other, right? Not just have the same old. Go on trips, right? Yeah. And I'm assuming because you are able to afford it now, you're able to go on trips now, or were you not able to do it before? Tell us a little bit more about that.
So we're planning. Haven't done it yet. I've only came home twice so far. I went 5 weeks, came home for a week, and I had to pack up my apartment, so it's been pretty hectic. Next time I come down, we're just going back to Daytona for the weekend, going to South Carolina. We're just doing something, because you got about a week off whenever you decide to go home, so make it count.
You gotta decompress. That's beautiful. Thanks, Nick. When you have so many people coming to the oil fields, different personalities clash sometimes, right? So just lay it down for us. How do you handle clashes? Have you had any clashes? How can you get out of the clash without feeling miserable? How do you move forward?
That's a tough one. So you get a lot of different stigmas about the oil field. Whereas it's an oil field, you take it out back.
Right.
Yeah, you talk it out.
Take it behind the frac tanks, I say.
Yeah, take it behind the frac tanks, you deal with your problem, you get back to it. But then on the other hand, it's you lay a finger on someone, you get fired.
Right.
So
it's a new oil field.
It's a new oil field. It's a tough oil field because it's kind of both.
Yeah.
I say you come out here, you treat everyone with respect.
Yeah.
But you demand respect in return. that's what I've been doing. And
has it worked out?
As some people know, it hasn't quite worked out too much. I had a little incident about a week ago. So I treat everyone with respect. Some people don't feel the same way.
So
if you can,
go ahead. No, go ahead.
If you can brush it off, brush it off. It's not a
Sure.
big deal. It's hard. It's hot. Everybody's tired. Everybody's they're on edge.
Yeah.
So just cut people slack. Let it go. In my particular circumstance, been going on for a while. I bit my tongue. I tried to talk to other people, vent a little bit, get it off my chest. But at a certain point, it was too much. So I just tried to stand my ground, stood up for myself, and just demanded to be treated with a little respect and not talked to in such a disrespectful manner. Things got
In a rough tone,
I started calm.
Okay.
I tried to diffuse the situation. Hey man, you don't need to speak to me that way. As it escalated on his side, escalated a little bit on my side, a little more sternly saying not to talk to me in such a manner.
Adrenaline starts pumping a little bit.
Starts pumping to the point it got a little physical. Hands were laid on me.
Wow.
And we were pulled apart.
And when we say lay hands, we ain't talking ministry and baptisms here, right?
No,
We're not talking about giving blessings here, right?
No, it wasn't just the hands. But
Okay.
everything got resolved. It's good now because that's no fists were thrown. They don't need to be thrown. Just treat people with respect. Expect it in return. If things don't go your way, whatever, brush it off. There'll be days you don't show everyone respect. It's hard out here. Just make the most of it. Talk to people, vent. It's
That's
good to
good.
vent.
How do you find folks to vent? There are a lot of people in the oil field who maybe post oil field that have come out and maybe they're the loners. You know, maybe they don't drink with other guys. They don't do the things that other guys do.
Yeah.
And it isn't as if they try to ostracize themselves, but just naturally, it just happens. How do you talk to other folks when you're different, you know, in any way? How do you do it? How do you find the right one?
Easiest way is just vent to people who vent to you because yes, people will be venting you.
Okay.
If you don't even have to be overly nice guy. If you're just respectful,
Yeah.
people will come up to you and be like, because they need to vent to you. Everybody
Yeah.
needs to. So it's a cycle. They'll tell you all their issues, you tell them your issues, and it's better than his.
It's called guy talk. So make it happen. So find the vent.
Get beers with guys. Sometimes I get home, I'm exhausted. I don't want to go out. We talk about going to get beer fest, which is make some beer and breakfast because we got a bar that opens at 8. And you suck it up and you go once in a while.
Sure.
It's camaraderie.
Do it.
You spend more time with these guys than you do your own family.
Right.
So try to treat them like that. Go have a beer, have jokes, a light conversation. Make sure days go a lot better when you get home.
Create some memories with them. That'll be the key. It's awesome.